Ladies in red. Ladies in red. Ladies in red. Discuss the latest news, just fans giving their views. This channel is red. They see the bar and raise it, plus they rep for the ladies. Trust it's red. Female voices in football. Red. If you want to talk up, it's a red channel for me and you. Subscribe and tune into the Ladies in Red.
Hi guys, welcome back to Ladies in Red. I hope you're all doing well. It's Monday. We're talking United. A lot hasn't changed, but I am going to delve into the biggest topics right now, and obviously the biggest rumours in terms of the footballing world. So I hope you're all doing really, really well. It's so good to get on a solo show and be able to chat to you guys, because obviously I don't really do these that often at the moment. So yeah, I hope that you appreciate the fact that I'm on my own today, and I appreciate any comments from the chat, because obviously I want to delve into your opinions. I can already see Jack there. Jack, hello to you. Good evening, and I hope you are doing well. Hopefully you've had a positive start to your week. Good evening to I Love the Villa as well. I hope you are doing well. I haven't seen you for a while in the chat, so yeah, I hope you're doing good. But yeah, I mean, the biggest talking point at the minute, the only talking point from a United fans' point of view, is the Jong rumours. Now, TalkSport obviously at the weekend stated that United are close to agreeing £68 million deal for Frenkie DeJong. It's going to be agreed by Friday. So this week, I'm expecting a bit of news. So the rumours are that Barcelona can't register newly signed players until they obviously make a bit of money. I know that there was rumours that if Barcelona delayed the deal as well, then they would get more of a cut in terms of the profit from the deal. And that apparently is playing a part of it as well. Now, I'm going to act like I'm a genius. I'm not going to act like I know what I'm talking about in terms of the financial side of things. But it does kind of make sense, because this deal has been going on for an eternity, if we are honest about it. It does seem more and more likely that we are going to get our man at the end of it. But yeah, seeing teams in and around us making signings and then just hearing the same rumours over and over again has been pretty mind-numbing from a United fan's point of view. Good evening to Lawbreaker. I hope you are doing well. And good evening to Jack. Says, yeah, we have signed Ebiowi. I'm not sure. I don't even know how to say that. Or should I say Stoll? But yeah, I don't know how to pronounce that name. I'll keep trying. But if you could lie to me and that, break it down for me in simple terms, I'd appreciate that. I hope you sign nobody, because people forget we finished 8 points off you and we dropped points left, right and centre from winning positions. It's true. And Oliver Villa says, yeah, I'm sorry about the lack of appearances, but I've been mad stressed with marking end of years, and also I'm trying to organise to help my fiance plan our wedding, which is absolute chaos, and I can totally understand that. And I'm just glad that you've made it this evening. I'm glad that you're doing well. Hopefully the planning is going well for you as well. I don't envy that at all. And of course, yeah, you know me, I also work in a school, and people say that this last term is the term where it kind of slows down. That's a myth. This is a term where it all speeds up with exams going on and stuff as well. So it's crazy. So I feel you. But thank you so much for tuning in. But in terms of DeJong, look, I think he'd be a great addition for us. I think he's a very good player. A lot of money. And obviously, we don't know how much Ten Hag is going to be backed in this market. So if it is that he's only going to get around the 100 million mark, then a big chunk of that is being spent on Frenkie, which is concerning when we see how many positions we need to strengthen. And I guess my question to you guys in the chat as well is, if we do get Frenkie DeJong, do we still need, even on top of that, another midfielder? And I think that's the question I have to throw to you guys in the chat, because Frenkie, like I say, is a very good player, and I'm not knocking him, and I do think he definitely adds quality to us. But we've been screaming for that CDM for a long time now. We've been screaming for that defensive-minded centre midfielder, if you like. And I'm not sold on Frenkie being that guy. And I could be wrong. I'm not going to lie and say I've seen loads and loads of Frenkie playing. Obviously, I've seen bits at Ajax in Champions League. I've seen bits of him at Barcelona, but I don't watch him consistently. And my concern is, if we're spending that much money on a player like Frenkie, do we then still need another CDM? Or do you guys think maybe someone like Ghana, Fred even, who did improve under Ralph, can he play that role alongside Frenkie? And that's what I'm throwing out to you guys. Lawbreak says, yes, we definitely do. Agavin, thank you so much for that. Let's get the show started indeed. Good evening to Helgon Will says, finally some action. Hopefully this triggers a domino effect. Hopefully the rumours are true and it will be done this week. Obviously, players are now back in terms of pre-season. I saw a clip of Sancho. I've seen Donny van der Beek with a smile on his face as well, which is good to see. But I'm under no illusion that Ten Hag is happy with this situation, because surely as a manager coming into a new club, you want to get your signings in as early as possible so you can work with them through the pre-season. So I have no doubt that he's feeling frustrated by this whole affair as well. I'm Blue says, Frenkie DeJong is definitely more offensive, and that's my concern as well. He's definitely more of an offensive player. You'd say that's kind of the midfielder we didn't need. And I'm not saying I'd say no to him, because like I said, I do think he betters us as a side. But I still feel like we need that defensive midfielder. And Calvin Phillips was one that a lot of people mentioned. Obviously, he's on his way to City. another one that we've missed out on. I'm going to say missed out on. Look, we obviously weren't in for him, but I do scratch my head and hope that there is a plan in place. We have got someone else in mind, because it feels like Calvin Phillips was kind of the perfect downgrade, if you like, to someone like Declan Rice, who's going to obviously cost a lot of money. Were the Harry Maguire rumours true? Rumours were that Barcelona were interested in Harry Maguire. I don't believe so. I don't believe that was true. I'm not a source. I'm not going to claim that I know, but I think it's very unlikely in terms of Maguire. Who knows? Who knows? If Ralph Rangnick was here, we would have signed 2 players by now. It makes you think, Aikman. Definitely gets you thinking that. I'm absolutely terrified that they bring DeJong in and think that's the midfield settled. Be a laughing stock if we spend 70 or 80 million and we still have a big hole in the team. Gareth, spot on. That's my concern as well. Hello to Doug. Doug, hope you are doing well. How many days is it now, Doug? Let me know in the chat. I know it's not many. It's not many at all. With Frenkie, he'll probably play with Fred. And that's what I mentioned earlier. Obviously, can Fred be that guy? Now, let's not be illusioned. Like, Fred under Ralph Rangnick was a much improved player, but he did play more of that 8 role where he was pushing a bit further forwards. Can Fred play that CDM role with someone like De Jong alongside him? And like I say, De Jong brings us an extra quality, no doubt about it. But is he defensive minded enough? And Fred, we know his tenacity in there is unmatched at times. He can be absolute quality, but his quality on the ball has often let him down. So it's an interesting one. Does Ten Hag trust Fred? Does he believe that he can suit that system, if you like? Because like I said, when he was playing at an 8, I felt that's where we got the best out of him. Cameron, another example on a free. I'm still in shock that you've got him as well, and that, again, we haven't even been considered for it. Good evening to Steffi. Hope you are doing well. Frenkie is a system signing. Finally, we get a system signing, not a club signing. Held on wheels. Very good point. Obviously, he's worked with Ten Hag in the past. Ten Hag believes that he's the guy who's going to kind of lead the way in terms of his new project. He's going to be the face of it, and he's going to be the player that we play through. And that's what I mean. I'm not knocking the signing. I think he'd be a very good signing for us. I just question that money when we probably need another midfielder as well. Like, I don't think that is our midfield finished if we do bring Frenkie in. And Doug says 5 days until he gets married. 5 days indeed. I'm excited for you, Doug. I'm excited for you and Rebecca. And I'm sure you're excited as well as a bit nervous maybe as well. If things don't go well at United in terms of results, I fear the worst for United and Jong's attitude, because it don't look like he wants to be there already, as he said he wanted to stay at Barcelona, of course. And I said this from the start. I said, obviously, we want players who want to play for United, but at the same time, someone coming from Barcelona, we're not in the Champions League. There has to be an element of Ten Hag being involved in that, because obviously he's worked with him in the past, and also the fact that he's being ushered out the door because Barcelona need to raise funds. Not once has he really said he wants to join Manchester United, but he does seem like the kind of guy who gets his head down, and I think he's got the right kind of attitude. I don't question his attitude as such, but you are right. If it's not going so well, it'd be interesting to see how he does react to that. And also the media and stuff with Ten Hag, because we know what it's like. There's going to be a lot of pressure on him as well, and if the results aren't going his way, then of course people are going to turn on him as well. More excitement than nerves. Loves that, Doug. Love that. Van der Beek and Frenkie with Bruno in front of them. Possibly, because I haven't even mentioned Donny's name in all of this. But again, is that defensive enough for a midfield, do you think? For certain games, you could get away with it, definitely. But yeah, it's an interesting... And like I say, I'm not an expert on De Jong. I'm not going to claim to be. But it does make me think, is that a bit too attacking for a midfield in the Premier League? Congratulations, Doug. I'm getting married next year. Your fiancée and soon to be wife is a very lucky lady. She is. It's true. She is. Happy that we haven't got overrated English superstars. Nassif, there is that view. Of course, I mentioned Phillips earlier. There is that view. Declan Rice, definitely far too much money for him. And I've been screaming that I'd love him at United, but for that kind of money, it's a joke. And I can see why we haven't gone in for him. Rumours are now that he could be going to Chelsea. Yeah. Soph, would you take Elise for 35 million release clause? Apparently, but Ornstein said Elise signed a new deal with better release clause. Either Elise or Anthony. Elise has such a high ceiling. I think Elise is quality. Absolutely quality. And all these talk about Anthony, look, I know we've did it and dallied him. We probably could have got him for cheaper, but as usual, we've dragged our heels and now we're going to be absolutely rinsed for him. But I'm seeing that Martinez supposedly is going to Arsenal. Anthony's obviously coming to us. Ajax can have a team next season. It seems like the Monaco situation all over again, when they're getting rid of all of their top talents, and it's a shame to see a team torn apart like that, isn't it? Obviously, the manager's gone as well. So, yeah, I don't believe it. I feel like it's kind of the easy thing to do to link Ajax players to a move to United at the minute. I don't know. Anthony, I would take him. I would definitely take him. But again, I don't know. I don't fully believe. Apparently, he wants to. I know Fabrizio said that he wants to come to United. He's desperate for a move to United, and it's kind of a matter of when. That's what he said. So it seems like it's likely it could happen. But all the other rumours coming up. I mean, Timber was another one. I just can't see them getting rid of all their star players. Not all in one window like that. What an absolute shambles of a summer, says Acid. Overrated. Jong is still not done, and nobody out of any note. Piss poor. It's been a shocking transfer window so far, and I'm just, like I say, Ten Hag can't be happy going into pre-season with no new signings, but the players that he's had to let go as well. But I do think, Blues just said it there. I just about to allude to that. I think we have got to trust Ten Hag. We've got to believe that there is a plan in place. He can lift certain players as well. Like I say, I mentioned Fred there. Maybe Fred could be that answer. Well, I know we're writing him off already because of what we've seen, but we have to give Ten Hag a bit of time as well. And also, in terms of players coming in, maybe he has got a plan. Maybe like players like Phillips, like I mentioned earlier, missing out on players like that. I'm saying missing out because there's never actually truth in us being linked to him. But I'm hoping that there's kind of lower radar names, lower profile names that he's got on his books, and hopefully we can get those deals done. Maybe it's a case of Frenkie being done, and then it'll kind of domino into more signings. That's what I'm hoping for, and I'm saying hoping in capitals because I do not trust this club. Not Ten Hag, the club. Ajax are based in pride and don't want to be a selling team. They're going to be awkward and stubborn deliberately, and you can't blame them. We've already took their manager. You cannot blame them for that. Madeza, hello to you. Host Sophie. We need to sign him because he will help us attack and defend better, I guess you say there. It's definitely more the attacking side, isn't he? That creative element. Sophie, are we appointing a lawyer to help us in the transfer market? Was it not what Ralph was brought in to do? The Ralph situation has baffled me. It felt like I was so excited hearing me at Ten Hag with Ralph just above him, thinking, you know what, we're gonna be a force in this transfer window. We're gonna get business done early. I thought it'd be different. Same old, same old. £68 million, I believe, in the region of £68 million. We aren't getting Anthony. Ajax are asking for 60-70 mil because they don't have to sell anyone, and also I believe if we'd have gone from a bit earlier in the market, we could have probably got him for a lot smaller than that. Sorry, but because we haven't done it sooner, we dragged our feet. Then they've upped the prices down and said, look, you know what? Yeah, pay 60 or 70 million then if you want him. And that was just so slow. Obviously, I'm hearing Arsenal have signed Jesus, and I think it's a good signing, but I also think that a lot of Arsenal fans are getting a bit ahead of themselves, and they forget that he was back up to no striker at City. They kind of played with a false nine over, having Jesus as a 9. In fact, he was probably a bit better when he played it on the left. So I think with Jesus is a good signing, but still it's showing that teams in and around us have got ambition. They're making signings and getting them done early. And with us, we just drag our feet. Pre-season started. We've got rid of so many players, still players who will go as well. And we're just not making a move. That's how it feels. It's so frustrating from a fan's point of view, isn't it? When, like I say, you see rivals. Phillips going to City, as well as the business they've already done as well, is just absolutely crazy. I do think that's fake news about Harry to Barcelona. I don't think that's going to happen. I think Ten Hag will love to Nzabi. What do you think? I think Carl, to be honest, I think he's got all the right attributes to Nzabi. With him, it's just about staying fit. He had a bit of an injury-struck season, didn't he? And I think with him, it's about staying fit. I'm sure he'll be impressed with him because, as I've just said, he's got all the right attributes, and he seems like the perfect kind of player. For Ten Hag to develop, doesn't he? Young, he's been about for a bit now, but high profile. He's definitely a prospect, and I think if we get someone like Ten Hag to get his arm around him, like say, an injury-free season, then who knows? Tuanzebe could, in future, be a constant for United. But injuries kind of did ruin his season. Fabrizio said on United stand that Anthony wants United and United wants Anthony. He did say that, but I hate to say it, Fabrizio hasn't exactly been the most prolific in terms of news regarding United as he as well. It seems like the same news being recycled over and over again. And like I say, I think the Ajax players, it's just an easy link to United at the minute. It's easy news, isn't it? Manager comes, of course, players are going to follow him. That's kind of the storyline. And obviously, as United fans, because we're so frustrated as well, and we're just frustrated at how inept our board is. We just want business to happen. Of course, we want to believe those rumours. And like I say, I would like Anthony, but any Ajax players that are linked with us at the minute, I just don't fully believe it. So for any news on Martinez from Ajax, can you see that deal happening? Timber, after what Van Gaal said to him, looks unlikely, doesn't it? So Martinez could be, but it does seem if he's going anyway, it looks more likely to be Arsenal at the moment. I'm seeing him linked there. Who knows? I'll be honest, out of the two, I did want Timber, but you have to question his attitude as well. If it is that Van Gaal said to him, look, if you're not playing regular football at United, then you're not going to play for the national team. Does he not back himself to be able to play at United on a regular basis? Do you know what I mean? And that you have to question that as well. I'm thinking about Anthony. If a player actually wants to play for us, this is what we need. Well, you'd think that because he wants to play for us, according to Fabrizio, you'd think that because he wants to play for us, that might bring the fee down maybe 10 10 million or so. So that will help a little bit in terms of Anthony. And he's a player that I would like to see. I think he's a very skillful player, an exciting player. Who knows? I think at the minute, as a United fan, I always say, but until they're holding the shirt up, I don't believe anything because of how frustrated we are. Any little bit of news regarding transfers blows up because of how we are as a club. And that's why you just can't believe anything until you see it. Brush said, we've shot ourselves in the foot with the leaked footage of Arnold saying that the money is there. Hampers any short leverage when it comes to negotiations, of course, because every team's going to be like, well, you've got the money, so pay it. So any team, well, we always get rinsed anyway, but yeah, I agree that didn't help us. Aikman said, I can tell by your voice, I'm saying frustrated. I don't even know if I'd say frustrated anymore. I think I'm just numb. Literally, what will be is my attitude, and that's shocking, isn't it? I don't have any excitement for the new season at all at the moment. I know players have been back into training today, but I literally don't feel any excitement at the moment. And it's not even like, I don't want to sound like a spoiled brat, like, oh, we haven't signed any new players. It's not that at all. It's just the negative end of the season we had, then the uplifting news of getting Ten Hag with Ralph right there behind him, to then losing Ralph, to then not making any signings. It just feels like the same old, doesn't it, that we've gone through for so many seasons. So, yeah, I'm just tired. Aikman. I think that's the word, tired. Doug, thank you so much, guys. If you wouldn't mind liking, sharing, and subscribing, of course, if you are new to Ladies in Red, I'd appreciate that. Hello to Dwight from Trinidad. Hope you're doing well. Carl said, I agree, but if Tuanzebe was an Ajax player, we would break the transfer record to buy him. Yeah, I agree with that. And I think if he stays fit, who knows this season? Obviously, I know he went back to Villa and that kind of didn't work out, did it? We'll see. Are United fans too emotional about the United way? And Fergie, people talk about lowering our expectations, but surely that makes sense for a rebuild. We're not exactly going to win the league anytime soon. It's a good point. Of course, we've got to keep expectations high, like we've got to. And I think that's a sign of ambition. I think there's a thin line between ambition and arrogance. I know we're not the same United as we used to be, but that doesn't mean I don't want us to get back to the top and winning titles. Do you know what I mean? And I just feel like there's a certain way of doing things. Even teams, I mean, look at Man City, look at Liverpool, Spurs even with Conte, like they've got ambition, they've showed their own this market, and you don't have to sign wonder names to do that. The fact that we haven't even brought anybody in is just questionable to me. Before pre-season, you'd think we want to do that by now. And that's a frustrating thing. But I do agree, I think in terms of our expectations, look, expectations have to stay high, but we're not going to have Fergie's era again. We're not going to have that same domination, if you like, because teams in and around us have strengthened as well. Like the league is a lot stronger, you'd say, than it was then. A lot of money's gone stupid, absolutely stupid in football. We have to appreciate that. We mentioned earlier we're going to get rinsed for players because of the video that went out and stuff as well. Also, the Ed Woodward interview a few years ago, which backfired, talking about how much money we've got. But yeah, I think I still have the expectations, and I think I will still always have the expectations because at the end of the day, I think this team, we have to get back up to the top, and it's going to take a while to do that, hence the rebuild that we're talking about. And we have to show faith in Ten Hag. But I think we all know what I'm getting at here. It's the owners that we don't trust. It's not the manager. To an extent, it has been the players. But now with this rebuild, obviously, we want to get behind the team again. We want to support them. But when the club aren't bringing in players to replace those who've left after such a shambolic season as well, it's just disheartening. It's really disheartening. You're right, Soph, like Sam and United people said, we've become natural pessimists because of the way the club is being run. Exactly. We're pessimistic because of what goes on above. Not the players, obviously, last year, fair enough, but give them stick as well because they're absolutely awful. But it's not signing any players after finishing 7th, after the season that we had, a shambolic season, losing so many players as well. Like for me, it's kind of unforgivable. Like the dividends that they've obviously taken from the club as well, which I'm not going to go into too much because I don't know financially. All I know is they're absolutely milking it. Yeah, it's frustrating. Would I take being an oil club, though, if we did change owners? That's a good question. And I want people in the chat to get back with that one as well. I don't think I want to be associated with the oil club, I'll be honest. And I don't think we have to get back to the top. I don't think we have to be associated with an oil club. You know what I mean? I think there's better ways of doing it. It's a bit like the Newcastle, Saudi Arabian owners. I don't really want us to go down that route. But we have to be legit, like, I don't know, we have to be sensible and think, you know what, if we're going to get back to the top, there needs to be a big influx and investment of money in terms of the training ground, as Arnold said in that video, and the facilities, and just everything to make this club back to be a top club. There has to be a big influx of money. I'd rather not go down that route, though, if I'm honest. But look at the teams around us, as I've already mentioned it. Look at the teams around us, and at the moment, they're stretching further and further away from us. But I don't think we have to go down the oil club route. I think there's plenty of investors that we could probably get if we were to put this club up for sale, if the Glazers were to do that. But we know how selfish they are, and you know how frustrated those fans are with it. But yeah, an oil club, for the people asking, is just basically a billionaire owners from oil. That's where it all comes from. In Eric Ten Hag, we trust. It might take about 3 years, but let's be patient. We've got to be patient now. I think we have to be patient. As fans, obviously, it's been pretty torrid, but I think we have to believe in Ten Hag. We have to obviously visualise it and see that it's above where the problems are. He hasn't really been backed yet. I'm hoping there is a plan and eventually he will be. But right now, you are right, Adam. We have got to be patient. I'm just hoping that there's a plan. And that's why I haven't kicked off too much on Twitter or anything. Obviously, I'm seeing people have a meltdown on a regular basis, but I think I'm just trying to stay grounded. I'm trying to just believe that we have got a plan. Surely we're not that stupid to believe that to not bring any players in after the season that we've had. We're not that stupid, surely. Even the Glazers aren't that stupid, and something will happen. But in terms of getting us back up to winning titles and stuff, you are right. It might take a few years. Might take longer than that. Hopefully not. But we've got to be patient. John said, "What will you do for your birthday next week?" Oh, yeah, it's a big one. It's a big one next week. I don't know. You know what? It's on a Monday, so it's literally a week today. So it's a bit of a rubbish day, if I'm honest. Obviously, I'll be in work, teaching year 7s and 8s. So yeah, I don't know. I have got a party on the Saturday, a fancy dress S-theme party, which should be a laugh and a bit of fun, with family and friends. But in terms of my actual birthday, I don't know what I'm doing. Hopefully celebrating some United signings. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? That'd be a nice present. But yeah, I'm not thinking about it too much. I'm just living the last few days in my 20s. That's what I'm doing. I'm making the most of that. Winning new signings, other clubs are doing well in the market, and while United's still waiting. Like I say, I'm just hoping that we're waiting because the long term we are going to make signings. There is a plan. Maybe this Frenkie DeJong one is what's holding everything up, and after that, it's kind of like a domino effect. I'm hoping at that. That's my theory anyway, but we shall see. It's not so much about having the richest donors. We just need people to come in who care a bit. Exactly, that's what I mean. I don't think we need to go down the oil route. We do need money, no doubt about it. But yeah, I just don't think we need to go down the oil club route. I think we do need owners who understand the club, who understand football in general, and care. And obviously, at the moment, we just simply do not have that. What's my Premier League top 4 prediction? We're not in it. I can say that we're not in it. I think I'll probably go City, Liverpool, Spurs after the signings they've made, probably Chelsea. I know Arsenal have got Jesus and whatnot, but I still think Arsenal are a bit like us in the sense that it's going to take a few years. So yeah, I'd probably go City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Spurs, or Spurs, Chelsea. I can't really decide between those two, but yeah. So if you don't look at over 21, so don't worry about the big 30. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I'm 30 next Saturday the 9th, and I'll be in Rhodes. All right, Doug, don't need to rub it in, honeymooning it up. Love that though. Love that. I've never been to Greece, but I hear it's beautiful. Let's try and catch up with some of your comments. Romano saying that we have been discussing with Barcelona since the beginning of June for DeJong, and our offer has increased from 60 to 65 plus add-ons, while the Glazers already pocketed 11 million. I know it's disgusting. I know, Naeem, it's so frustrating. But like I said, we just have to hope that we do get that deal over the line. I mean, the worst case scenario now is that we don't end up with DeJong after all this time that's been wasted. That's the worst case scenario because we've lost out on players. And I know Phillips is a downgrade, but players that we could have got for cheaper, you'd say, who were possibly available, we've lost out on them and we've wasted a lot of valuable time in the market before pre-season. That's the worst case scenario. I'm hoping that isn't the scenario. And in fact, we do sign DeJong before Friday, which has been stated by TalkSport, and then we can kind of move on to other transfers. But we shall see what happens in terms of that. Because obviously Barcelona, I believe that in order to register their new signings as well, they need to get a bit of money, don't they? They need to sell, need to free up the wage bill a little bit. So that does make that deal a lot more feasible, if you like. I think we are overreacting a bit. We just need to sign Frenkie and then see how much money we have left. We wanted to sign Nunes, but it was too much if you wanted DeJong also. Nunes one, I'll be honest, of course he's going to... I wasn't that fussed about him going to Liverpool. I think he's a good player. And Liverpool obviously are very clever in the sense that they needed number 9 out there at the moment. There's not really a lot of choice. And I think it's a good move for Liverpool. But I think for me, at the moment, we have higher priorities than that. And that's why I wasn't too fussed on the fact, because like you mentioned there on Blue, we don't know how much money Ten Hag is being backed. And if he would have blown all that on someone like Nunes, and then we'd have had to suffer in the midfield region, I wouldn't have been happy with it. So I'm not too disheartened by that. And I'll be intrigued to see how he gets on at Liverpool as well. Sean, thank you so much for that super chat. I appreciate it. Thoughts on Sterling to Chelsea and Jesus to Arsenal? Jesus, I'll be honest, I think a lot of Arsenal fans have got a bit overhyped. I think he's a very good player. But he was a backup striker to no striker at Man City. I'll say that again. There was no striker there and he still didn't start in that 9 position. He was probably more effective out on the left. And like I said, I think he's a good player. I think he'll fit in well at Arsenal. But I've already mentioned it. I still think Arsenal are a few signings and a few probably seasons away from getting back to where they were as well. So I think it's decent signing. But yeah, I'm not too excited about that. Sterling to Chelsea, however, I think would be a massive deal. I think Sterling is still a quality player. And you just know that if we were, is it what 35 million the rumours are for Sterling? You know, if we were interested, we're talking 60 million plus because that's just how it goes, isn't it? But I do think Sterling to Chelsea would be a very good move. But in terms of the Jesus one, decent signing, and they know what they're showing ambition. They're getting signings in early, but I just don't think he's their answer to the goal scoring problems. If you like, that's probably the way I'd look at it. Miranda, let's go. Exactly, let's go. Let's make some signings, United. I agree with that. I read that Jesus prefers to play on the right wing too. Yeah, left or right wing. I can't remember if it was left or right, but I know he went out wide for a bit and he was definitely more effective that way. But Arsenal have already got the likes of Martinelli, Saka, so Pepe. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's a decent signing, but I don't think it's the answer to the goal scoring issues. He might prove me wrong, and fair play if he does. But at the moment, I think Jesus is an interesting one. If United were to make a bid for Martinez right now, do you think he'll choose us over Arsenal? Yeah, because of Ten Hag. I do think he would choose us over Arsenal if we were interested, but I don't think we'd get into a bidding war with Arsenal for Martinez, to be honest. But you think Ten Hag would have a bit of extra pull. Then again, you have the London thing as well. A lot of players obviously want to come over to live in London. That is normally a downfall, but you'd think playing with Ten Hag in the past as well. Eagle-Eyed, evening to you. I hope you're doing well, guys. Make sure you go and subscribe to Eagle-Eyed Football, and of course the Dugout is in the chat as well. On this occasion, I think you playing the waiting game with Barca and DeJong is a good thing. Thoughts? Yeah, I agree. The only worry I have, and that's just because of the lack of trust that I have with the board and how this club is run, is like I've already mentioned, if we miss out on then signing Young and we've wasted a lot of valuable time. I don't think that'll happen. I do think we're going to end, surely we're not that stupid, we will end up with Young as a United player. But that's the only concern I have. I'd rather us get the deal done than not get it done at all, if that makes sense, Eagle. So I do, I understand what you're saying there. I'm Blue, thank you so much. That I appreciate that super chat. He said, but it's not about our priorities, it's what Ten Hag wants. If he wanted a midfielder as a number one and then a striker, but it was too much money, so we realistically had 120 to 150 million budget. Yeah, of course, it has to be Ten Hag. How many times have we signed players that don't really fit into the system? Someone mentioned it earlier. He's obviously a system player in terms of DeJong, Frenkie, because he fits into the system. And Ten Hag has openly said that he really likes him. He wants him to be the first signing. He's going to be the main signing because we're realistically going to play through him. He's going to dictate how we play next season. I have no problems with that. No qualms with it at all. We just bloody better get it done. I think that's the only thing I'll say. We just better get it done. Thank you so much, I'm Blue, for that super chat. I appreciate it. Richard says, so assuming that we get DeJong, who plays in midfield with him? Personally, I think we still need a defensive midfielder, which is what we started this video off discussing. Can Fred realistically play that? Someone mentioned Donny being that. I still think we're too offensive in that midfield. I think we still need someone disciplined in there. Phillips might have been a good option, but obviously now he's going to City. So we need a cheap alternative, a cheaper option that could be in that midfield, be disciplined. We've missed out on a few already, as we know. Who do you guys think could come in and fit that role, really? Because I think Fred under Ralph was much better, but he was much better as an 8 and not as a 6. We need a 6, don't we, in that midfield to accompany someone like DeJong in there. And it's going to be interesting to see how he balances out Ten Hag with Frenkie coming in. What's it like for a Red Devil living in Dingle County? Dingle County, Paul, it is what it is, isn't it? Now, you know what? People only know me as that, like from a baby, I've always loved United. And obviously me and my dad is obviously a Dingle, a big Wolves fan. We have a lot of banter regarding Wolves and United. But yeah, I've always been, it's just the norm for me. Everyone knows me as United mad. I'm always called United mad because it's just always been in me, just a United fan. So obviously Paul Scholes had a big part of that as well, being my idol. So yeah, it's just normal for me, normal. Dingle came to that, made me laugh. Let's see what else. So Manchester United first place in the table, I believe if Slabhead leaves the club. Nah. You know what? I'll be honest, I think McGuire is going to surprise a few people next season, and it's probably controversial for me to say that. New manager coming in, put his arm around him. I do think that he shouldn't be captain. I agree with that. But I also do think you don't turn a bad player out overnight. Obviously, for England, I think Maguire's been very effective. He's been decent. Obviously, England have been poor of late, but in the Euros and whatnot, and I think that people got short memories. I still think there's a player in there in Harry Maguire. I don't think he should be captain, and that I completely stand by. But I think Ten Hag will lift him next season, and I think a lot of people will be impressed. I put my neck on the line in saying that. But yeah, I do. I really do. I'm from Rayleigh Regis and read through and through, Bab. Love that. Not far from me at all. Not far from me at all. Let's try and catch through everyone's chats. Everyone's in chats. I really hope that after a done deal with Jong, we need to sign 3 more players. Realistically, how many players do you guys see us signing in this window? I think that's a key question as well, because 3 is normally the go-to number. We obviously need more. We know that we need more. But realistically, I think 3 isn't a bad shout, especially because of how long it's taken for this De Jong deal. Unless there is a plan, and like I say, he's going to kind of domino, and we are going to get more signings after him. But yeah, I think 3 is probably realistic. We know we need a lot more than that, but we have got to be patient. There's only so much time that Ten Hag has to pick these players, and obviously to scout these players, and with Ralph going as well, I'm sure that's affected a lot of the plans. Ajax said the most would be 5. McGuire will come good. He just needs to take the armband off. I think you do. 2 seasons he made a lot of mistakes and he got arrested. I think that whole situation, obviously with his sister in Greece and stuff, I think that affected him as well. Fallout from the Euros, that affected all of our English players. But as captain, obviously there's a lot more scrutiny on him. And I'm not defending him saying that he didn't deserve the stick last season, because I thought he was absolutely shocking at times. Shocking. But at the same time, I think back to that form he had at the Euros, and I know that he can reach that. And I think that I don't know. With Ten Hag, I think I have faith. I have faith and hope. I keep saying the word hope a lot. As a United fan, I think that's a big word for us. But we hope to get these deals done. We hope Ten Hag can get the best out of these players. We have no control over it, which is so frustrating. I'm Blue. Thank you so much. Said, let's be realistic. England has the games in the Euros. Yeah, I can't wait for the Euros to start. In terms of the women's Euros, I cannot wait for it. Cannot wait for it to start. I want to try and get to some of the games. I am presenting a bit for Don Robbie, but I'm going to try and get to as many games as I can. I'd have recommended people getting there. Tournament football is just the best, and obviously to be able to support England in England, yeah, I'm excited for that. George is here. Hello to George. The GOAT arrives. Hope you're doing well, George. Thanks for tuning in. One love Manchester United. Yeah, one love Manchester United. But honestly, this love is making my hair go grey. Honestly, it's so stressful. What about the conflict between McGuire and Ronaldo? I do think there's some element of truth to that. I do think there was an element of truth. I think Ronaldo obviously wants the best out of players. McGuire wasn't playing well, for sure. Look, they're professionals at the end of the day. You'd like to think that they push it under the carpet. They often say what's said on the pitch is done. I'm sure that they've moved on from that now. I do believe there's some element of truth on it, and I'd fully back Ronaldo if it is that he's trying to get the best out of the players around him. And that's why I believe that he would be a good captain for us, especially for this season. Cristiano Ronaldo is captain. I think it should be that way, because I think he has those expectations. He demands that from the players around him, which is something we haven't had. A lot of people want Bruno, but I think last season Bruno was too much arm flailing, too much complaining. Long term, maybe, yes, but he needs to cut that out. I don't think we want to see that from our captain. Too much sulking. I'm Blue said the easiest games in the Euros. I meant Denmark got robbed. Yeah, I remember you saying about the Denmark thing. I can see you still clinging on to that. I'm Blue. You know what though? Denmark were the other team that I was rooting for in the Euros. So yeah, obviously I have to back my own country when it's England, but Denmark I was definitely rooting for in the Euros. Has a deal been done? Any deal, for God's sake? No deal has been yet, not at all. But rumours are that it will be done by Friday. And hopefully, I say that word again, hope, the H word, I keep saying, hopefully it does get over the line sooner rather than later so we can move on to the next deals. And actually you can get him in time for pre-season so Ten Hag can work with him and get him used to the club and into the system, because it's just been so frustrating. Stadiums, I believe there's Leeds. There's a lot of stadiums. Old Trafford obviously is there as well. But yeah, there's quite a few stadiums. There's plenty of tweets from UEFA. Tickets constantly for sale. England games, obviously, as you would expect, are pretty hard to come by. But yeah, there's plenty of tickets going for the women's Euros. Safegate is Ollie point 2. Clueless, boring football's been very boring of late. So, if not England, which country would you support for the World Cup? That's a good question. It's a good question. I mean, Brazil is always up there for me, just because of the days of obviously R9, Ronaldinho. Brazil is always up there. Pure entertainment and vibes purposes, to be honest. I don't know. For me, I like an underdog. So I guess I'll probably watch the group stages, see who impresses me in terms of group stages. A bit what happened with Denmark. I like an underdog. So I guess I'll judge it and see when I get there, and I'll let you know. But Brazil is always up there for me as a second kind of team, just for an entertainment point of view. Yeah, Brentford is also being used. Milton Keynes, Southampton, Old Trafford, as I've already mentioned there. So when are you signing for the United ladies team? Says Paul. I'm always here and waiting whenever they want me. Whenever they want me, I'm here and waiting. I am signing for Kidderminster Harriers again this season, though. They've got a new manager, a new setup this season, so it's exciting times for the club. A lot of new signings already. So yeah, exciting season ahead for the club. Obviously going for promotion. So yeah, that should be really good. Every single game is depressing. Yeah, I don't know. You know what? At the Euros, though, I said I got to disagree at the Euros. Even though, don't get me wrong, with the talent they've got, obviously wanted Grealish to play more and whatnot. Southgate got us to that final, and I always will appreciate that. And I know it was in England and stuff, and we got very lucky with where it was set and whatnot. But getting us to the final, like that passion that I had for my country, like I haven't felt that. I can't remember last time I felt that. The joy. Do you know what I mean? I was absolutely buzzing, and I haven't got a short memory. Like I have to back Southgate and thank him for that, for getting us to that final. I have to. But yeah, obviously the last few friendlies and whatnot. Going into this World Cup, I was feeling optimistic after the Euros, thinking, you know what, we're going to go on, we're going to go one better, and we're going to win it. After seeing all these friendlies, it's got worse. It's actually got worse. I feel like it's kind of gone stagnant and gone stale under Southgate. But no way are they going to get rid of him before a major tournament. After the previous one, he got us to the final. No way. So it's one of them. I'm hoping that the players' quality shines through. But I'm not feeling so optimistic now, I think I would say, because it has got a lot worse. But nothing's going to change, let's be honest, before the World Cup, is it? Nothing is going to change. But I have to thank him like that. I've never got so like patriotic and supportive of my country playing in a tournament as I did in that Euros, because it was just epic. And obviously after COVID and stuff as well, I think they had a part to play in it, didn't it? Because everyone obviously wanted the freedom, and it was a bit of a joyous occasion, and a heartbreak at the same time, obviously the final. But I do have to thank him for that, because all I remember from England is disappointment, and obviously we still had that in the end. But we had that spell where it was just joyous, and I could get behind him, and I loved it. But right now, going into this World Cup, I'll be honest, I do feel a bit like less optimistic, because I do think it's gone the opposite way now. It's almost like he's outstayed his welcome, and I mean that in the nicest way possible, in the sense that his tactics and stuff's kind of gone stale. Certain players like Grealish and that not happening. It felt like the dressing room was a tight knit, happy place, positive. Doesn't feel that way now with certain players being left out, does it? So yeah, George, I get it. But I'm just saying that it won't happen. It just will not happen before a major tournament. And I totally understand it. And like I say, we've been woeful, especially the last few friendlies in particular. But after getting into the final of the Euros, it's just not going to happen. Southgate will be there for the World Cup. I'm just hoping wherever the issues are, they get ironed out, and Southgate actually has a bit more of an open mind and will play more of these players, will be a bit more. Maybe these friendlies, to be fair, getting battered by Hungary and stuff could be the best possible thing for us leading into a World Cup, because it could open our eyes and think, you know what, we've got to change. We've got to go for it a bit more. We can't be so boring and sideways, and you know what I mean? It's like watching United again. It's so frustrating. And hopefully that it'll go the other way, and actually we'll work on things, and it will learn from that. It will be a lesson. Because let's face it, if Southgate wins the World Cup, we'll all be celebrating. Nobody's going to be questioning why he was still there. And I'm not saying he's going to do that, but I'm just saying I think we've got to. I know we keep saying about being patient and whatnot, but I think in terms of Southgate and England, before a major tournament, nothing's going to change. So we've got to support him. It's easy to be good when you are playing against teams that are rated 100 or worse and only home games. Hope England get relegated to Iron Blue. It's still very salty about it. But that's what I said when I know that we were at home for it and stuff as well, and that obviously goes in our favour. And I totally get it. But I'm just, from a fan's point of view, that's the first time I think I've really felt happy watching England play. Every other time it's been pure disappointment, and I have to thank Southgate for that. The biggest thing will be playing Bellingham. Bellingham, what a player. I love watching Bellingham play. I think he's an outstanding talent. And yeah, I agree. Surely he has to play at the World Cup. Even in the friendlies that we've been watching, and we've been dreadful, he's been our bright spark, in my opinion. I think for his age as well, he's 18, 19. It's quality, absolutely quality. And yeah, I hope he plays in the World Cup, definitely. And Grealish is another one as well that I'd like to see more, because he gives us something a bit different. He's a bit direct, he'll run at players. And obviously Sancho being in the squad as well. Sancho must have been thinking, what on earth do I need to do? When he wasn't playing well at United, he hadn't quite settled, he was getting into the squad. When he starts finding form and playing well, he's not in the squad, and I just can't get my head around that. So yeah, Sancho must be totally baffled. But guys, this has been a great show. I want to say thank you so much for joining me. Love to you all as always. Thanks for the super chats from everybody. I appreciate it so much. I will do more of these shows. Probably one a week. Maybe a Monday is a good time for me to do it, because I love delving into the topics. And hopefully next time I am live, I will be talking about a new signing. I mean, that would be nice, wouldn't it? Ladies in Red will be back on Wednesday. I am joined by Maisie. Possibly Alice will be joining me again, and hopefully Amy will be joining us this week. So yeah, a Ladies in Red show will be back on Wednesday. I might in no time, might be 7, might be 8 p.m, around that time. But until then, guys, stay positive, keep smiling. Fingers crossed we ain't got much longer to wait now for the first shirt being held up. Fingers crossed, we shall see. But have a lovely rest of your evening. Love to everybody. Please, like I say, make sure you drop a like on the video. Subscribe to Ladies in Red if you're new. Drop a comment afterwards and I'll always reply to you there as well. ECL is tomorrow, 5 o'clock. I will be live tomorrow on ECL, so hopefully I'll see you over there for the FIFA stream tomorrow at 5. Until then, guys, keep smiling, look after yourselves, and I'll see you soon.